If you want to know the best rosary farming progression guide for all acts in the game, you are in the right place. I've spent more than 70 hours hunting and optimizing the best spots in the game, all the way from Act 1 to 3, which many of you loved and supported. It is time for me to give you the best definitive progression guide from start to finish, so ultimately I can save you the guesswork and a lot of time. Like for example, the Marrow spot that is one of the 2 best early farming spots in the game, and it gives you a decent amount of rosaries to buy all of the early items that the merchants are selling in Act 1. We'll be starting this farming method in one of the benches in the Marrow, which I'm showing the location on the screen right now. Before we can access this spot, we need to unlock the shortcut first before this whole method works. I'll be starting from where the actual bench is located, and I'm showing the location again on the screen right now for your convenience. Head to the exit above you and head to your left. This is a straightforward long path with enemies guarding it. You are in the right direction if you encounter the snail-like enemies that spit projectiles. Notice the mechanism that I'm showing you right now. Hit that mechanism to open the trapdoor that will lead us to the next area. After the trapdoor, head to your right this time and you will be doing a series of long jumps to reach the straightforward ledges leading to the right. Eventually, you will reach the exit that leads to the bench area, and make sure to hit the switch to release the iron trapdoor next to the bench so you can start the run. Now that the bench is ready, I suggest getting the sweep step ability first so we can streamline the travel time for this method. The faster the speed, the more rosaries you get per minute. The early and the only tools you need for this run are the magnetic brooch, which will allow you to magnetize drop rosary beads so you can focus on killing enemies. The next tool is the shard pendant, a tool that increases the drop rate of shards from enemies so you can better sustain the cost of your offensive tools just in case you want to use it in this run. Although we will not use any specific tool for this early method, the shard pendant and the magnetic brooch are the 2 staple tools of rosary farming methods all throughout the game, so I highly suggest obtaining them now. For us to save time, I'll be skipping providing the location of all of the items used in all of the builds in this guide, but instead, I provided all of the drop locations in the description so you can hunt them later on. From the actual bench, head to your left and cast Silk Spear to one-shot both of the first enemies in this run. At the end of the ledge, drop below and hit the next enemy with a drop down attack. Run to your left and hit the next enemy with a sprint attack and finish it with normal attacks. Quickly sprint on your right and take out the last enemy in this run with another sprint attack and normal attack. Make sure to absorb all of the Rosary Beads before heading to the exit to your right. Follow the ledge and the series of pillars that eventually lead you back to the bench to reset the run. Rinse and repeat. Each run takes around 30 seconds with reset loading times included and gives you a whopping 25 Rosary Beads per run. Do this method for an hour and we are looking at a more than 3,000 worth of Rosary Beads per hour, which is great, especially since this is the earliest spot to grind. Now the Grammar spot will carry you for a very long time even if you are already in the early areas of Act 2. This spot is going to be your first optimized spot since you can get some of the best tools at this point. The Grammar spot will let you farm traveling pilgrims for easy loads of rosaries located near the halfway home inn, which is going to be our key bench for this method. At this point, you already have access to the Wanderer crest, and this is going to be our main crest for all of the upcoming spots. If you decide to use another crest, just adjust your build accordingly. Poly Pouch is a staple tool in all of the farming methods in this guide, so your tools can inflict poison on enemies, making your runs faster because of the poison added damage over time. The bar bracelet is an absolute must as well for more damage per second, and you don't need to worry about the increased damage taken since we are just farming for Rosary Beads. Although we will not use this for any normal attacks in this method, get it now since we will be using this tool a lot in the next acts. At this point, you can also upgrade your needle to +1, the sharpened needle. Your crafting kit should be level 2 as well, so your tools will hit harder and ends farming runs quicker. Start your auto run by heading towards the right exit. Dash and enter the nearby tunnel on the right. Follow the tunnel and immediately throw in 3 long pins, and these are enough to take out our key targets for this run. You can throw at least 4 long pins, but try your best to take out all of the targets in just 3 throws. Make sure to get all of the drops and dash and return to the bench to reset the run, rinse and repeat. Each run takes lightning fast 15 to 17 seconds with reset loading times included and gives you 29 Rosary Beads and 13 to 16 shards per run, which is enough to sustain long pin shards cost per run. Do this consistently for an hour and we are looking at a stable almost 7k plus Rosary Beads per hour. Pretty nice gains right there, especially since this method requires little to no effort. If you are getting value so far, subscribe to the channel. Liking the video and engaging in the comments helps me more than you can imagine. Join our Discord server and discuss role-playing games such as this, and I appreciate your support. Act 2 will start when you finally access the Citadel, and this is where the games really opens up to the player, where 90% of the area can be explored. This means that you can get the best of the best equipment and abilities already in Act 2. So when it comes to farming builds, expect that I will be suggesting the best of the best items, especially since we already have access to the best spots in the entire game during this chapter. Like for example, the optimized Grand Beltway spot in Act 2, which will allow you to farm 2 castle guards with lightning fast speed. Endgame tools will make this spot ideal, perfect to grab quick cash, especially since the farming spot is located near a bell station. The main damaging tool for this method is the Conch Cutter, an easy to use tool that deals continuous damage and powered up by a level 4 crafting kit and a level 3 pouch. And of course, we are using the Thief's Mark, which increases your total rosary gains but also lets you lose rosaries after getting hit. Again, you don't need to worry about getting hit if you follow my strategies later on. Lastly, I'm using my main crest in the game, which is the Wanderer's Crest, for the fastest needle attack speed possible. Although we will not use needle attacks on this specific spot. I will be juggling between the Wanderer and the Architect Crest in some of the spots on this list later on, starting the actual method by dashing and jumping to your left when getting off the bench. Immediately cast 2 consecutive Conch Cutters, and these are enough to take out the castle guards in this method. After the targets are dead, get the drops and head back to the bench to reset the run, rinse and repeat. I've tested a lot of tools for this spot, but the Conch Cutter provided the best results so far, while also retaining its cost efficiency. And each run takes a lightning speed of 13 to 15 seconds with reset loading times included and gives you 46 Rosary Beads and 9 to 10 shards per run. Do this method consistently for an hour and we are looking at an almost 13k Rosary Beads per hour. The Grand Beltway is not actually the best spot in Chapter 2 when farming regular enemies. The White Ward entrance is not only better when it comes to rosary gains per hour, but this is one of the spots that you can still access later in Act 3. So it is best to unlock this spot in Chapter 2. This spot will allow you to farm roaming castle guards placed on an ideal farming route near the White Ward entrance. And I am showing the actual spot location on the screen right now, and unlocking it requires a little bit of work. First, you need to get the white key to unlock our farming area, and this key is located in Songclave from a dead body where I'm standing on right now. I'm also showing the location of Songclave on the screen right now, so you will not have a hard time locating it. If the dead body is not around because the place was built up, you can simply access the nearby quest board and accept the Wandering Merchant quest. After accepting the quest, head to the location that I'm showing on the screen right now to find and rescue the merchant. After rescuing the merchant, head back to Songclave and you can buy the white key from our guy here. I don't have it showing here since I got the key from the dead body when I first arrived in the area. After getting the key, head to the location that I'm showing you right now, which is our key farming area and also the location where you can use the key. Use the key to unlock the elevator and also have access to the bench near your current location. You should already have the Hive Steel Needle, which is the highest upgrade of your weapon for maximum efficiency. And we are still following the same build idea, but this time, we are using the Cogfly as our main damaging tool for this method. Cogfly is one of the staples and strongest tools in the game, which swarms and damages enemies in auto and deals immense damage on top of your needle attacks. So expect to melt enemies with this setup. We will be doing a lot of needle attacks in this method, so the Long Claw is highly suggested. This tool extends your needle attack range so you can hit enemies faster, especially if the Wanderer's Crest is equipped. You can also take advantage of the Whiskfire Lantern, which summons Homing Fireball for additional automatic damage on top of your Cogflies. This is perfect if you're still adjusting to this spot and lets you maintain the damage per second. Start the actual method by summoning 4 Cogflies and dashing to your left to exit the bench area. Hit the first castle guard with a dash attack, followed up with a pogo or a downward slash attack. By doing this, you can deal 2 light speed hits and be launched into the air to finish the second enemy with more downward slashes. Get all of the rewards and head to the next area. dash until you see our next targets, and do the same dash and pogo attack combination or opener while transitioning to normal attacks. During this period, your cogflies are also dealing continuous damage, so runs will quickly end in no time. Pick up all of the drops and head back to the bench to reset the run, rinse and repeat. Each run usually lasts around 25 to 27 seconds with reset loading times included, and gives you 102 Rosary Beads and 21 to 23 shards per run. 21 to 23 shards per run can easily make up for the cost of the 4 cogflies you summon. But the best part is, it will take a while for them to expire, so you will be gaining shards instead. Do this method for an hour and we are looking at an almost 15k worth of Rosary Beads per hour, and that is a lot. If you find the previous spot crazy, nothing can beat the Songclave Giant spot, which can give you a mind-blowing 21k to 23k worth of Rosary Beads per hour. There is no doubt that this is a god tier spot. However, after the recent patch, I have encountered bugs that may affect your farming runs as well when using this method. So I have prepared different builds for you to potentially solve the issue. This spot can be accessed when you unlock and complete the High Halls area of the Citadel, and we will be running a specific route leading to the first shrine or to the Songclave bench. I will be suggesting my main build as usual, which is the Wanderer's Crest, and it follows the same idea as the previous builds that we just talked about so far. I just changed the shard pendant to magnetite brooch so we can get the drops in the fastest time possible without worrying about it and focus on offensive strategies for maximum gains. Don't mind the extended pull in here, and you can leave the slot blank if you want to. Summon your cogflies and start the bench in High Halls. Exit on your left and drop down to the nearest exit to the long hallway. Head to your right and quickly pull off a dash attack on the first giant and do a downward thrust. By quickly pushing the needle attack button as fast as you can deal as many as 4 to 5 hits right off the bat before the enemy gets to its attacking position. Dash to your right until you find the next enemy and do the same exact strategy. Remember, dash attack, pogo or downward thrust, and then do aerial to normal ground attacks. In 5 to 6 hits, the giant will die, leaving it no chance to counter. After the second giant, stop and magnetize all of the Rosary Beads before heading to the nearest exit. Do a dash and jump, and then cast the Clawline skill to skip the cogwork area. In the next hallway, we have a total of 3 giants to farm, and no changes were made in the strategy. Repeat the same tactics until the third giant in this area is dead, but make sure to stop for a while before heading to the nearest exit to get the drops. Access the bench in Songclave to respawn the targets to continue your farming runs. What I usually do is do the farming route backwards with the exact strategy that I just showed you in the previous run. This may take a couple of practice sessions at first, but once you get used to it, you will be farming loads and loads of rosaries. After all 5 giants are dead, rest on the bench of High Halls to respawn the key targets so you can circle back to Songclave. A single run from one bench to another usually lasts with lightning fast 43 to 45 seconds and gives you a whopping 275 Rosary Beads per run. Do this method for an hour and we are looking at a mind-blowing almost 23k worth of Rosary Beads per hour. Truly the best spots in the entire game. One thing to note is that you will never gain shards by doing this method. But because of your godly gains per hour, you can easily offset the losses of the shards by buying a shard bundle in Bellheart, which only costs 50 each. Also, the cogflies last for a while even after multiple runs, given they don't bug out and disappear. So you'll be getting the most out of your used shards per cogfly summon. Speaking of possible bugs, the main issue that I had in this method after the recent patch is that the cogflies disappear at random times every time you move from one area to the next. Like what I'm showing you right now where I just summoned them and when I entered the hallway, 3 of the cogflies were gone. If this happens to you, it will greatly slow you down. 2 possible solutions from my end, and what I usually do is force close the game and run it again, and it usually fixes the issue afterwards. But if this doesn't fix the issue on your end, I recommend using my architect build instead. The quick sling is highly suggested in this build, so you can cast 2 consecutive tools in one single press, so you can burst down the giants way faster. Then slot in the 3-fold pin as our sub-tool for this method. Nothing changes with the actual farming route, but we will be using a different strategy this time. Before approaching the giant, make sure to charge your needle and blast it off in front of the giant. follow up with 1 tool cast of the threefold pin. You'll be shooting 6 pins in total, and these are enough to burst the target down. Do this strategy in all 5 giants while following the same farming route and you are good to go. You notice that we don't have the Silk Speed anklet this time, right? So we are 3 to 4 seconds slower this time compared to the previous build. Despite the minor drawback, you're still expecting a mind-blowing 21k worth of Rosary Beads per hour. When it comes to Act 3, expect a lot of changes in the game, keeping the spoilers to a minimum, but when Act 3 comes, there will be drastic changes to your environment and most of the best spots in the game will be severely affected. So make sure to abuse the Songclave Giant spot since that spot will be nerfed big time, to the point that it is no longer viable at this point in the game. But what if you accidentally miss the Songclave Giant spot? No worries about that, and I got you covered. There are only 3 spots viable in Act 3 and the first one is our White Ward entrance spot. Unlike the Grand Bellway spot, this spot survives in Act 3. However, the enemy placement was altered, so there are few changes made in the actual strategy. We will be dealing with flying enemies and enemies that loves to jump. So my suggested Whiskfire Lantern is a great addition to this build. You can also remove the Shard Pendant and slot in Magnetite Brooch instead, so you can focus on killing the flying enemies. Follow the same strategy that we just applied during Act 2 and you can adjust to this spot easily. And you can expect almost 12k worth of Rosary Beads per hour. The gains are 3,000 less worth from its Act 2 version, but this is already the best spot in Act 3 if you want to farm regular castle guards. Since the Songclave Giants are not viable in Act 3, there is still hope for you, my dear viewer, just in case you accidentally skip the best spot overall in the game in Act 2. The White Crawlies is the second best spot overall in Act 3, a spot that allows you to farm experimented Crawlies in the depths of this ward. You already know the location of this spot or the White Ward, and we are using the same architect build that we use in the Songclave Giant spot. To start the actual method, slide down to the depths of White Ward and enter the opening to the right. And eventually, you will reach the straight farming route. What you only need to do is charge your needle attack and blast off these crawlies and they will go down in a single charge attack. Follow the straightforward path and use the same strategy on the next 2 key enemies. After the third enemy, wait and magnetize all of the beads first and save and quit. Load your save and you will be ported back to the bench to repeat the run, rinse and repeat. You will be getting almost 15k worth of Rosary Beads per hour without any shard costs in this method. But what if I told you that the best spot in Act 3 is not the Crawlies? The White Ward Sergeant spot is hands down the best spot in Act 3, which can give you a whopping 17k rosaries per hour. The actual location is still inside White Ward, and from the Crawlies location, just climb the platform and the key spot is just located near our last location, which I'm showing on the screen right now. Nothing changes much in the build and I'm still using the same architect build loadout, but this time, I already upgraded my needle to its maximum upgrade, which is +4 or the Pale Steel Needle. The actual method is pretty simple. Summon at least 4 cogflies and enter the key location. Charge your needle while in the loading screen and dash to your right. Once the 2 sergeants appear, release the charge attack to the rightmost enemy and quickly charge the needle again. So when the second sergeant reappears from the ground, you can blast it off with a charge attack. Dash to your left and before exiting the area, magnetize and get all the Rosary Beads first. And after that, exit the area and repeat the same process, rinse and repeat. The cogflies are just there as a safety net because sometimes the second sergeant will not burrow into the ground and instead jumps at you. So when that happens, the cogflies can damage it by a ton. It shall last around 15 to 17 seconds with loading times included and gives you 72 Rosary Beads and 8 to 9 shards per run. Do this method for an hour and we are looking at a whopping 17k of Rosary Beads per hour. And yes, it is not godly compared to the giant spot in Act 2, but this is the best you can have in Act 3. And by the way, if you need to replenish your shards and replace your cogflies, simply use the Architect's special skill to produce more tools at your disposal. Use all of these spots according to your progression and never be broke again. But what if you just started the game and want to have the perfect start possible? Click on this video and I will catch you on the next one.